With the covenants, restoring covenant with God. In the new covenant, we have a real covenant, just as real as the covenant of Moses, the realness of the covenant of David. We have in Noah a covenant, a real covenant that should matter to every human being. That God would not destroy the earth again with the flood, with water. Completely deluge the earth, cover up the highest peaks, and kill every human aside from those that are in the ark. The only way that God can do business with us, He has to swear by Himself. He has to swear by His own nature and His own eternal character, His truth. He is truth. We are a lie. If you understand that. We are not truth-filled. We are death-filled. We are dark. And we are lost. And without Him, we have no hope. So God has to come down, and God has to do something inside of man to make him pleasing to Himself. Or He has to awaken something that He has to do inside of man. And He does it all through the cross. He does it all through Jesus Christ. Without Jesus Christ having died in history, but for those early believers before Christ, Jesus Christ was dying in the future tense. But without the knowledge that He would die, and without that knowledge for the Father to know that His Son would stand in our stead, those animal sacrifices, those rites and rituals, all that incense and the smoke and everything was pointing to Him, was pointing to His Son. Even when Adam and Eve sinned in the garden, God established the new covenant through His Son. So we have the simplicity of that message I just gave you. That God has one man that He has saved the world through. And it's Jesus Christ. But along the way, in history, we have what we call covenant heads. And it starts with Adam, when God gave him a mandate to be fruitful, to multiply, and to tend the garden. And Adam didn't do that the way he was supposed to, because there was one condition. There's always a condition. And that one condition was he would not or should not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And we all know, by the virtue of the fact that there is such a thing as an obituary column or page in our newspaper, that by virtue of death, sickness, disease, calamity, trouble, that when Adam and Eve ate that fruit, all men, their seed, would die. There was a promise to the woman, and that promise came to her womb, that her womb would bear the seed that would crush the head of the deceiving serpent. But when God did that, He created animosity in the world, a war between good and evil, between Cain and Abel, which represent two types of people. Those who have faith in God's redemptive way and plan, and those who have faith in themselves and are under the rule and the tyranny of Satan. Both are human. You cannot tell the difference between the two until you look at their activity. And God looks upon the heart, and what God was looking for was worship. And only Abel provided that true worship, that sincere heart. Where Cain, he put the extra pieces and parts of his crops, produce of the ground, of the dirt, not bloodshed, nothing that was real costly. I mean, it didn't really cost if he had 1,000,000 potatoes to throw 10 potatoes on an altar and call that worship. That's the heart of Cain. And isn't that not the heart of the church today? We're under that spirit of Cain. And I've done this writing on this topic. It's called The Modern Day Prophet. That we are all either prophesying according to the way of Cain, which is the false prophetic, which is in the church and in society. It's in the air. It's everywhere, trying to squeeze us into a man-centered approach for all of our problems. You know, education, you know, a one-world religion, a one-world government that will solve all the world's problems. Our science is man-centered. It's not God-centered. And then there's the other side, which is the Abel seed, which is the side of true worship and true heart devotion that brings the best that he offer. And in the new covenant, as I've been establishing the heart of the remnant, a new covenant person brings his life, brings his body, brings his affections, brings his whole self to Jesus Christ. And without the bringing of your whole self, you are not in the new covenant. Now, is that not a simple statement? We should not be divided over what I've just said, because that term of that covenant was set forth in Jesus Christ when he said, "You are not willing to take up your cross and follow me, you're not worthy of me. If you don't suffer with me, you're not worthy of me. If you don't lose your life, you never get your life. If you don't sell, like he said to the rich man, all that you have, give to the poor, take up your cross and follow me, you can't follow me." That's the terms of the new covenant. It is following our covenant head and leader, Jesus Christ. It's a very simple statement. That's why I like it. That's why I'm going to focus on it. Because the church is very divided. But the real church is not divided. The real church is unified in Jesus Christ. The thing that we see with our eyes, the natural eye, is we see division represented in doctrinal views, belief systems, just denominational way. Therefore, we have people riding along in those cars, separated from other people. What we would call classic division and strife. Because if we really believe that Jesus Christ is the only way of salvation, and that all truth, all life, all wisdom is contained in Him, then we would come to Him with all of our heart. And we would go to Him with a genuine desire to know Him. Not anything else. Not the rite and the ritual of your favorite church that you go to, or the one that you left to find a better one. No, we're not looking for a better band. We're not looking for a better looking preacher who talks better. We're not necessarily looking for nicer people. What we're really looking for is Jesus Christ. He is the one that we are to seek. He says, if you would come after me, if you would follow me. That has not changed since the days he uttered those words. Yet we have somehow concocted a different way. It's called religion. Religion does not save. Religion divides and religion kills. So today, why I'm standing here, now 8-9 minutes into this dissertation, is I had planned and will do a simple, very simplistic demonstration to try to bring light to our problem today in the church. I would liken the true people of God that God is gathering all over the Gentile world, and those in Israel who do believe in Yeshua, Jesus, their Messiah, that there is only one body of Jesus Christ. And it is made up of diverse strands of ethnic, cultural, national bloodlines and ways. It also includes different strands of thought, of doctrinal viewpoint, which seem to compete with one another. But when we get to heaven, we're going to find out that a person who looked at things a certain way was not contradicting the person over there with a, as it were, opposing view, unless about heresy, which is whether or not Jesus was the Son of God or not, whether or not God created the earth or not. It was evolutionary, God-ordained process. Homosexuality I look as heresy. It's a conduct. That's not a teaching. It's conduct. And a lot of our problems are based in conduct. They're not based in teaching. They're based in how we act. And it's how we are living. It's how we do our day-by-day life here in America and all around the world. We've got to stop acting as though there is no God. We've got to stop acting as though there are no rules. And there are rules. In the New Covenant, it's just as stringent as the Mosaic Covenant. And we know what happened to the people of God in Israel. When they turned away from God, they started worshiping idols, and they started taking their kids and offering them up to Molech and going through the fire. And when they failed worship, we know that God was very unhappy, even to the point of destroying his own dwelling place, the temple in Jerusalem.